Hello and welcome. Today's project is all about the top 5 foods I avoid. Now, I started to really think about my diet 2 years ago when I discovered Dr. Jordan Peterson on a podcast talk about his transition from a carbohydrate diet to a carnivore diet, low carbohydrate diet. Now, he talks about his mood, and he starts to talk about how his life changed. He started to think clearly. His autoimmune issues went away. He became healthier than he's ever been, and that really caught my attention because I wanted to feel mentally clear and mentally at my best, and I wanted to feel healthy. And so I really thought, I must go on a strict diet. I must do something. And so I went and began a ketogenic diet. So right now I've been doing keto for 2 years. Really primal diet, low carbohydrate diet, so no sugar, a lot of vegetables, meats, eggs, fish, and it's a very primal diet. So I'm not consuming any junk, right? And nowadays in our society, you go to the supermarket and you read the ingredients on like pretty much everything and it's full of junk. But a lot of people don't read the ingredients. We just buy things, right? And we don't pay attention to really what's in the products. So in this video, I want to talk about how I really feel now being on a low carbohydrate diet, being on a strict diet, and the foods that I avoid the most. And I'm going to start with alcohol. And you might say, Brad, you can have some different alcohols on keto. And I agree, you can. But I do it for personal reasons. Now, the personal reasons are I want to feel mentally clear. I don't want to depend on anything to loosen me up or to relax me. And so alcohol is that thing where, I don't want to touch it because I want to face the challenges and the difficulties for what they are. I don't want anything to skew and shift my perspective. That's why I don't smoke weed. I just don't want anything to shift how I view and I don't want anything to get in the way of my mental clarity. Let's just put it that way. So that's number 5. Number 4 is vegetable oils. Now, like I said before, we don't look at the ingredients list at the stuff we buy from the store, but we should, and vegetable oils are in so many things. I want to say everything. It feels like they're in everything, but they're in so many things. They're in your mayonnaise, peanut butters, even the processed meats, granola bars. Most of the stuff that you buy, there's vegetable oils in them. Salad dressings, for example, they have canola oil, palm oil. It might even say vegetable oil, but they're not from vegetables. They're from seeds. They're from beans. And how they make them is just not good, because how do you get oil from a bean or a seed? Well, they use chemicals in the factories. They subject them to intense heat. And these oils cause oxidation in our bodies, aging, inflammation. So they're causing a lot of issues within your body. It's just chemicals, toxic chemicals we're consuming when we buy products with this oil or when you cook with this oil. That's why I avoid fast foods. Not only because fast foods have a lot of carbohydrates, is because they make these foods with these oils. They fry the French fries in these oils. That's why they make them. That's why they're so addicting. Because, how these oils are made, it's like you can also look at it like, not only is these oils are cheap, That's why they're putting it in all these foods, but they have an addictive quality to them, a taste to them that we can't help but want it, right? That's what makes fast food so desirable. So I avoid fast food because it's made from these oils. I look at the ingredients list whenever I'm shopping for food to see, are these oils in these products? And they've only been around since the 80s, right? We shouldn't be consuming something that's made in these factories only 40 years ago, right? And the worst part about it is it's causing a lot of internal damage to us. It's just chemicals we're consuming because how these oils are made. We want avocado oil, we want coconut, olive oil. We just want oils from foods that naturally give off these oils, right? Like meats or bacon grease, things like that. So I avoid vegetable oils and products that have vegetable oils in them. Number 3 is coffee. Now you can also say, Brad, coffee is not that bad for you, but I avoid coffee because I don't need the caffeine. I don't want the caffeine. I get enough caffeine from the teas I drink or the decaf I drink. But when you're suffering from anxiety, drinking coffee is really adding fuel to the fire. You don't want to add fuel to the fire. What you want to do is you want to wean yourself off of coffee so that you can face what you're facing head on, right? You don't want to artificially bump up your moods, right? You want to balance your mood out. You want to come to a homeostasis state instead. So coffee, stop adding fuel to the fire. And I see a lot of people suffering from social anxiety. I see a lot of people suffering from anxiety, and they're getting mochas, they're getting cappuccinos, frappuccinos. And I'm like, what are you doing? It's just, stop adding fuel to the fire. That's just too much. And I used to drink, double doubles, 2 cream, 2 sugars all the time. And I was really dependent on coffee to boost up my mood. But weaning off coffee, I felt the headaches, I felt the irritability, I felt the withdrawal symptoms. And I realized, wow, coffee really was a huge part of my life. And even the heart beating, coffee really enhanced the rapid heart beating when I was really suffering from anxiety. And so that's why I avoid coffee. And I drink teas now, which have a significant less amount of caffeine than coffee does. So that's my number 3. My number 2 is sugar, which is self-explanatory. I mean, sugar. We all know now sugar causes diabetes. It causes obesity. Causes a lot of autoimmune issues, causes cancer, things like that. So sugar, for me, weaning off of it was very difficult because I felt the withdrawal symptoms and I had sugar cravings. But then that went away and my mood started to stabilize more and my sleeps got better as well. I started to sleep more soundly, deeper sleeps. And sugar, I grew up eating a all-American diet. Right? I grew up eating burgers and fries and cereals every day and bagels with cream cheese, pastas, pizzas. I just grew up eating a very high carbohydrate diet. But also, I suffered from a lot of autoimmune issues. I got sick all the time, 5 times a year, colds, flus. I used to get a lot of headaches, migraines, and then I would puke because migraines led to a lot of nausea for me. And so I suffered a lot from my mood. My immune issues, but also my mood too. I had trouble concentrating in school. My blood sugar would spike and then I would crash all the time and I would feel lazy and I would get depressed and anxious. And so switching off sugar now, I realized, man, I could have done better in school. I could have had more energy in school. I could have, studied more with all that energy, and I could have done different things. But that's neither here nor there. I've now realized that, man, sugar caused a lot of my anxiety, a lot of my health issues. And then that brings me into number 1, which is gluten. Another thing that caused a lot of my health issues. Gluten is found in anything. It's the stickiness that binds, it's the sticky glue that binds breads and pastas together. I mean, I grew up with a high carbohydrate diet. So when I went on keto, I felt the withdrawals from carbohydrates. And that's an addiction right there. When you suffer these severe withdrawal symptoms, that's an addiction. And they found that gluten actually wears away at your stomach lining. So all the toxic chemicals from those foods absorb into your bloodstream. And so it's safe to assume that you're allergic to gluten. And what's crazy is that sugar it's only been around for the last 2,500 years. Flour has only been around for the last 5,000 years. So what have we been eating for the hundreds of thousands of years before that? Well, we'd just been eating plants, vegetables, meat. We were hunters. We ate a lot of meat, organ meats, things like that, fish. And so these foods that we're creating nowadays, pastas, pizzas, oh my God, crackers and chips and all these things, they are toxic. They are toxic to our health. And so it's safe to say that gluten is an allergy of yours. Let me just turn down this thing because it just got so bright up in here. It's still bright. God. So gluten, avoid gluten. It's causing a lot of damage. Now that I've went on this ketogenic diet, my mood is stabilized. I feel mentally at my best than I've ever been in my whole life. My memory is better than it's ever been. I've been sleeping way deeper than I've ever slept in my life. I feel emotionally stable. And Maggie, my fiance, she can attest to that. She tells me all the time how much I'm just a rock now. I'm not getting angry. I'm not getting too tired. I'm not getting hangry all the time. I used to get really hangry where I just didn't feel full all the time. But on a ketogenic diet, I feel full all the time because I'm eating rich, nutritional foods that our ancestors ate for hundreds of thousands of years. And so I'm not consuming any toxic foods that's causing mental fogginess, causing my mood to fluctuate, causing my blood sugar to rise, and then crashing from that rise in blood sugar. That's all gone now. Throughout the whole day, throughout today, I'm going to have a lot of energy. And I'm not going to crash. I don't need coffee to wake me up. I don't need to take a nap. I feel great. And I feel consistently great week after week, month after month, and year after year. And so that's where I want to leave you on today's video. If you want to learn more about gluten and if you want to learn more about carbohydrates, I recommend Grain Brain by Dr. Paul Muter. I apologize if I have pronounced that wrong. I think it's Paul Muter, but it's an amazing book and it talks more in detail about carbohydrates and how to eat a ketogenic diet. So I highly recommend that book. I also recommend Dr. Berg's YouTube channel or Dr. Barry's YouTube channel. They really talk about in detail the low carbohydrate ketogenic diet, and I really highly recommend this diet. I couldn't recommend it enough, because Maggie saw the change in me from this diet, then she went on the diet. That's how amazing the change was, and then the change in her and the change in me then inspired her brother to go on the ketogenic diet. And now he's on the ketogenic diet, and he just can't talk. He's so elated from the shift in how he feels from before and then now. It's amazing. And that's where I'm going to leave you on today's video. Thank you for being here with me, and remember, do not let anxiety define who you are. I'll see you on the next video. Bye for now. Remember to hit that subscribe button and that bell so that whenever a new video of mine appears, you will be the first to know. Namaste.